Hey there, Hidden River folk. It's Brandon again. Yep, you know who I am. So today, bringing up another hot topic, okay, that I know is just burning in all of your minds. Can you guess what it is? Okay, fine. I'll tell you. This one has been brewing, ha ha, dad joke, up in the coffee world for quite some time. It's really brought its head up lately, and unfortunately, there is a lot of people out there using it to fearmonger. I hate to use that word, but they're fearmongering people into buying way, way expensive coffee when, in all honesty, it's not really that big of a deal because there are so many checks and balances. That topic is mold. Yes, I realize the goat was a little bit overkill, but come on, that's funny. I'm sorry, but I find that really funny. Anyways, so I want to talk about mold today. And I know what you're asking. Can my coffee really have mold? Should I be worried? And I mean, really, the reality is yes, it can. No, you shouldn't. Spoiler alert, if your coffee is properly processed, stored, and roasted, which at Hidden River, I guarantee you that it is, then you really don't have a lot to worry about. So, we're gonna take some time to break it down. We're gonna bust some myths, and I'm gonna put your mind at ease. Because would I steer you wrong? No, of course I would not. That'd be dumb. That's just not me. Because I think you guys are awesome. And anyways, enough jabbering. Hey, before we start, would you please like and subscribe and share it? Give me a comment down below. It really helps me with the videos. Get the content out to more people. Just because I have a ton of fun doing this, in case you couldn't tell, but also it really helps us in all that we do to provide the best of the best coffee. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, mold in your coffee. What do you need to know? You need to know everything. That is not true. You don't need to know everything. But what I am going to teach you today is enough so that you can put your mind at ease and decide, is this something I really need to lose sleep about, or am I good to go? If you've been drinking coffee for many, many years like me, I'm pretty certain you figured out you're good to go because you are still here, right? So you're asking the question, and I know you are, should I worry about mold in my coffee? The real answer is not really. You shouldn't really bother with it. Why, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you asked because mold is not one of those things that's just there. It's not like green coffee, poof, mold. Mold actually really, as we know in the Northwest here, and we're up here in the state of Washington, so we know about mold up here, but it has to be really, really damp. But here's the thing is, the kinds of molds that we're looking for on coffee beans, it also has to be warm. Okay, in the Northwest, we get a lot of damp. We do have that, but we don't have a lot of warm. So that's the thing is, we don't actually really need to worry about it much. However, we still do. We still take this very seriously. We still take your health and the quality of our coffee very seriously. And that's why I'm going to go over how we do this for you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the conditions and the mold. But mold needs humid, warm, and low ventilation. Well, the low ventilation, we don't stick it in a closet and leave it. It's literally sitting on pallets with air moving around it. Like I said, in the Northwest, it's just not that warm that often. And when it is, we don't really have that high humidity, so we just don't have the moisture. Okay, it's at Hidden River, I can guarantee this. I can't guarantee this at other roasters, but it's probably a pretty good bet any specialty roaster is going to take care to have their coffee properly stored because we're paying a lot of money for this. It is not cheap to buy beans these days. And we want to make sure, not to mention, you're trusting us to bring you the best. So therefore, that's something that I know we don't take lightly. And other quality roasters that I know of, they don't take it lightly either. So here at Hidden River, I will guarantee you, because that's all I can guarantee, is that we process it properly, that it has been processed. Our importers have checked on the processing. Our farmers take great care. And Well, they're not our farmers. We don't own farmers. That would be terrible. But we consider them family because they do the best of the best for us. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Back, but we store it properly. It's processed properly, and we roast it properly. As you know, there is none better than Hidden River coffee, right? So let's get into a little bit about the conditions for mold. Okay. The conditions for mold are you need to have the beans at 12.5 to 13% or more moisture content. And I know that doesn't sound like much when we're going from 100 down. So basically 100 would be them sitting in a vat of water and literally just being soaked with water. That was a very long time ago in the processing. And by the time they get to us, they have been put out in the sun, dried on platforms with fans and everything, raked and all that. And then inspected post that to make sure that they are 12% or below. The ideal for coffee beans is 10 to 12% moisture. And I know that 0.5% sounds like we're so close, but in actuality, it's not that close. Not to mention, my importers, they like it to be even lower than that. So when I get it, I'm a nerd. You all know this. Do not question my nerdery. I will top you every time. But you all know that I am a nerd, so I bought a machine that actually tests the beans. So when we get a bag of beans in, we test it to make sure the moisture content is where we want it, and I don't have to worry about it. Most of the time, almost all of the time, the moisture content is 11% or below. I've even had a couple of bags come in that were down at 8%, which I'm totally fine with. We don't want it a lot lower than that because then it's overly dried, and that's a whole nother animal. But what I'm saying is we even check here. My importers have checked. The farmers checked before they sent it out. My importers checked it before they brought it to me. And then I check it before I roast it. And not just a visual inspection of the bean to make sure that they're smooth and shiny like we like, but to make sure that there is no mold or fuzzy or anything weird, anything that's not quite right. I tell my importers. And out of the thousands of bags that we have brought in, roasted and sent out to you guys, I've had one bag that was maybe suspect. I think honestly it was just dust, but sent a picture to my importer. It was a different importer. I don't use that importer anymore. There's nothing wrong with them. I just have different connections now. But sent a picture and they said send it back because we couldn't be sure. So that's the kind of importers I work with is they couldn't be sure, but they didn't even question. I know my current importers would do the same thing. Your health and the quality of their product is just as important to them as it is to me, as it is to you. Okay? So we're using beans that are properly dried. We're inspecting them. We're keeping track, and we are testing the moisture ourselves, and which is what we do. And here's the reality behind it. We have tracked the process all the way from farm. My importers have boots on the ground in the countries we buy from. They literally know the farmers, maybe not personally, but they've met them and they know the platforms that these are coming from, which is a really cool thing. I'll do a video on how coffee is processed in platforms in the near future because it's really quite fascinating and very cool. But anyways, back to what we're doing. Our farmers and our importers take great care, even before we get it, to make sure that the mold is not present. Now, let's talk just a second about mold itself. Are all molds dangerous? The answer? No. Some of them are just molds. You could eat a handful. That would be disgusting. Don't do that. Don't even do it on a dare. If somebody says $10 to eat this handful of mold, just look at them and walk away. That is not your kind of people. I digress. But no, there's only a couple really kinds of molds that we're concerned about, which are Aspergillus and Penicillium. And we're not actually, okay, here's the thing is we're not actually even concerned about the molds themselves. We're concerned about the byproducts that they put off, which are mycotoxins. The two main mycotoxins we're concerned about are OTA, which is ochratoxin A, and aflatoxin A. What is that with the A's? I mean, really, that must be the bad one because it's the first one. I always thought A's were good. I worked really hard for this. But anyways, sorry, squirrel, shiny thing, my bad. Coming back. But those are the two that we're really concerned about. Well, that's the thing is, as we've talked about, we can take care of those in the roasting process if they're even in there. They're probably not even in there. But if they are, we're working on those, okay? I'm not going to get deep into depth on that because I want to keep the video a little shorter, but basically it can have effects on your nervous system and your kidneys, your renal system. However, just to let you know, don't worry about it, okay? Because if there were to be any mycotoxins get through as we roast it above that 392 to be exact, they are breaking down and those spores are being killed and degraded, and we're getting rid of those. If any got through, it would be such a negligible amount. If it's not going to, but if it did, that you would be absolutely fine. In fact, if you eat processed foods or fast foods, you are in far more danger on a regular basis from getting sick and eating far more poisonous and carcinogenic stuff. I know the big words, the buzzwords, than if you were to get the tiniest little bit of mycotoxin, if it were even in the coffee, which it's probably not. But that's what I'm saying is you don't have anything to worry about. I know I'm harping on this point of you don't have anything to worry about. I just want you to be able to enjoy the coffee, and I don't want anybody fear-mongering to be able to get you to purchase overpriced coffee just so that it's been tested in a lab. And you know what? If you want to do that, great, but you don't need to. Okay, you really don't need to. Do not be fear-mongered into buying something for some test that might be okay. Okay, we're not going to get into the efficacy of the testing and all that stuff, but it's expensive too. We're talking thousands of dollars for one sample. Anyways, beside the point, roasting gets rid of up to 96% of the mycotoxins that are in the coffee, if they're even in there, which they're probably not. So, bringing it back, let's be real here. If you're drinking Hidden River coffee, all proper precautions have been taken. My farmers have checked, our team of farmers, the farmers we work with, however you want to see it. I'm just in awe of these people. They work so hard. They're amazing. They've checked it. The platform has checked it. The exporters have checked it. The importers have checked it. I've checked it. I'm checking that they checked, and they've checked that I've checked. And there's a whole lot of checking going on. It's a little ridiculous, but this is so that we can make sure that you are getting the absolute best coffee, because we just will not put anything else. If it's not safe and I wouldn't give it to my family, I won't give it to you. And here's the deal. I love them a lot more than I love you guys. Don't get me wrong. You guys are awesome. But it's my family. Come on, that'd be weird if I didn't. Okay, so in closing, I want you to know that your chance of having any significant amount of mycotoxin in your coffee is slim to less than none. Okay, last thing though, how do you ensure safe coffee? Buy from reputable roasters like us, Hidden River Roasters. We take it very, very seriously. I think I have harped on that point enough. Not going to go back into it. Check the moisture levels to make sure they're low enough. Well, don't check roasted coffee moisture levels. We've already roasted it for you. They're going to be very, very low. But just know that I actually check those as well. We do actually check those as well for you. We got you covered. I can't speak of any other specialty roasters. I guarantee you that there are some out there that do it. I'm just a bigger nerd than anybody. I will admit that, and I'm okay with that. And then we store our coffee properly. It's well ventilated. Believe me, it's cold, and it's just not humid here in the Northwest. It's great, and we've checked on our processes with all of the entire supply chain, production and supply chain. And lastly, if you're really worried about it, stick with the dark roast. It's been higher than that. It's well over 400 degrees, and for a lot longer. Go with the dark roast. Our Costa Rica's awesome. Our Mexico dark is fantastic. You can't go wrong. So anyways, I hope that I have put your mind at ease on this. Bottom line in you, 99.9% of specialty coffee that you buy and from us is completely safe. I would not worry about it one bit. If you ever are worried about it, just go back and watch this video again. You're going to be good to go. All right? I hope I've helped you. I hope I've given you information. I hope I have set you free from the coffee mold monster. Okay, that was just a little dramatic, but whatever. Anyways, Get out there, grab some Hidden River, click the link below to order your Hidden River right now, like and subscribe, and guess what? It's time to go savor the flavor of that sweet brew. Hidden River Roasters coffee. It's pretty good, huh? All right. Have an awesome day. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll talk to you later.